Welcome CNG 212 500 2-week one. This video will rest right in this area. This is where I'll always post our weekly introductions, what's going on, what we're about to do. Um, let's see. With this course, was redesigned. Let's start with that. We started with 2008. Uh, Came to 2008 R2, winding up, then went to server 212 or 213, depending on how you want to look at it. Kind of added the class, made it work a little bit more. Then when it came to 216, the class was, patched together. Now it's been redeveloped. Uh, Staged, it's still 2016, but it's staged for a quick and easy 2019 integration. And let's see, not many companies are on 2019. My company, for example, is moving from 2008 R2 to 2016, but is not didn't forecast, and it's funny, didn't project plan for the implementation of 2019, even though it was kind of a relay that it's going to be out there. So we get to learn on 2016. I learned on 2008, and I think it's gotten much easier, much more intuitive. Command line is turned into PowerShell, which is even more intuitive and easier to figure out. But then the GUI side of it, if you have to administrate and getting used to GUI, or just getting used to the server, in fact, GUI is a lot more forgiving and intuitive in that sense too. Here's a pre-course assessment. Go ahead and feel free to take that. See what you know about a server. Um, Unit 1 reading. As you click these, it'll take you out to our book, our first book, Windows 2016, Exam 70, 740, and it's going to be, I believe, an orange cover. There's three different, so this one's the orange cover book. Three different books, and as you see here, I clicked on the full book. Go ahead and click this again, and let me see what introductions there are to a server. If you are taking, let's see, CNG 211 online, this course and that course go kind of hand in hand in some cases, because you're going to see what reflects in the client also reflects in the server. And a cool thing about Windows 10 is that you can start hypervisors in that client and actually run servers on a client machine, and not actually have to do a server within a server, but a client running a server within it. We're going to look at roles of a system, roles and features, technologies, core technologies, server manager, NTFS file system, disk management, file and printer sharing, which are also covered in, I believe, CNG 213. So you're going to see that here, and then actually review it in CNG 213. See what hypervisor, cloud computing, PowerShell. Once again, a very powerful tool. If you're looking to become a network administrator, this is one route you're going to start, specializing in, is knowing how to automate processes to make it easy on you. What's a nano server? Windows containers. Containers are very they're a newer technology, newer methodology, I should say, that are just pieces of information or specific. Um, they're not a full computer. They're just like storage. Not really meant to be run on their own, but meant to be interacted with a full functioning computer. Uh, let's see, nested virtualization, and let's see, we get to the end of this chapter. As we progress through the book, you're going to see that our reading. Actually, let me stay on this for a reading. Wow. You can read through the book, click specific chapters, and see that it's very, very tight. condensed. And this is to make it easier for you to get the knowledge and use the knowledge, but also when you go to, I don't know, if you're sitting in the dentist office and you have earphones or earbuds, um, you can actually have the book read to you. Um, and there you go. So as you read the chapter, you can have the book read to you after you've read it, or just if you're short on time, trying to fall asleep. I wouldn't say trying to fall asleep at night, but if you're just doing it as review, um, make sure to have the book read to you, or if you're on the highway, have the book read to you. Um, Basically, you can do this course anywhere you have internet connection on any device. I know there's also an app for Cengage. Feel free to use that. Going back to week one, after you read, you're going to jump into lab simulations. The lab simulations, make sure you put aside a chunk of time for you to do these lab simulations. Lab simulations will start off with a to-do task. Once you complete the to-do task, you then move on to a short, brief quiz. Feel free to take these as many times as you want. It should take your highest score and get back to you. If there's ever um, an error with the system, make sure to grab the snipping tool, new, take a snip, save it, and then when you email me, make sure you put in an email. Um, there's my stuff. No, don't save it. In an email, what went wrong and where it went wrong. And then I'll go back and make those changes in the book. Relatively, these run smooth, but there's always hiccups with an online platform that we do not or cannot foresee. So once again, lab connection, follow the directions. Feel free to say replay, have it read to you again, or click the show me button to see how it's done. You should be able to do these over and over until you get the score you want to achieve. Going back here, where are we at? Which one did we just do? The virtual lab machines, a different platform. It's not going to ask you questions, but it's going to have you perform a function of the system within a virtual environment. So you're going to be actually doing a lab. It won't matter basically how strong your computer is because you're doing this in a browser in Cengage's environment. My keynote here is to make sure you read. Hopefully, when you came from CNG 132, 124, or 120, you get in the habit of reading, slowing down, reading the instructions, see what you have to do before you continue to the next page. And right now, I can see that these devices are powering up. Server server DM2, server DM1, server domain controller. I can tell this is a domain controller, DC, domain management. That's probably what these other two mean, domain manager. But as they power on, you're going to see these come in. Many different views to these. Feel free to poke around when in your options. The device, you can have auto server login, turn that on and off. Remote desktop client, HTML5, device pop-up mode. Sometimes, or I know there's a pop-up full screen on. That will create different tabs with each server resting in a different tab. Some students did find that easier, some did not. So make sure you pick what's easiest for you. And then once you're ready to go, click Introduction. As you see, I'm here. And then Start. And this starts your lab exercise. I'll get a 0 for that one because I didn't finish it. Let's see, after that, you go to Study, where is your review, and then Apply is your quiz. Think critically we will not do, because that's a writing an essay. We won't do that one. And that'll kind of end your week. So week one, make sure you do the pre-course assessment. See where you stand. At the end of the course will be another assessment so you can measure your growth. And then, like I said, later on in the semester, we'll do the final exam around week 12. Week 13, week 14, and week 15 is where we start a project, and you're going to start to demonstrate that you have the abilities to not only execute what we've learned in class, but execute it well. So take your own notes. Um, I don't have the Data Center 2016 download for you yet, but I will get that. Uh, I just have to find the connection for that, and I need my email access to make sure I can start emailing the people to ask the right questions. But yeah, so plan on the last 3 weeks just to be hammering out projects. We will also do a portfolio. So you say, hey, look, this is my project, and a portfolio is just like a brief description, 5 slides or so of what you did in the class, and you can do it over your projects. Say, hey, in my project I did this, or you can take, for example, go back to our lab simulation and say, this is what I did. Well, this one's just introducing Windows Server. But if we cover one that's more in depth and you like it, then do your portfolio presentation about that. Say, look, this is what I learned in Server 2016. This is what I learned. Or actually, that's the wrong one. This is what I learned in Server 2016. This is what I did, and this is how I did it, and then this is the outcome. And use that for a job interview. Say, yeah, I understand how to deploy a Windows Server. Here's my example. I did this with the domain controller. I did this with DHCP. And then you kind of impress those who you're doing an interview with by showing them you know how to do it. Yeah, this one just I wouldn't do it on. I wouldn't do your portfolio presentation on introducing Windows Server. I'd do it on something a little bit more in depth. So that's all for this week. Have a great start. If you have any questions, make sure you email me. They pop up here. I get to them when I can. Usually it's early in the morning and in the evenings. But yeah, feel free to send me an email in D2L. Once again, I do not have .edu access. I'll inform you guys when I do have that. And that's it.